thrill me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
Hey yo, welcome to the Review It Rob show. I am, of course, your host, Review It Rob, coming at you with a lot of stuff to talk about this week, man. Not really. Got some news articles to hit you, but hope everybody out there has been doing good, having a great time. We are officially in the month of September, spooky season before spooky season time, yeah. But like I said, hope everybody out there's been doing good since the last time we chatted here. Got a brand new episode coming at you. Gonna talk about the WWE did 2 live events over the weekend. That took up most of my watching time, so that will be my review for this week. A lot of news to go over. What's going on in DC, what's going on in the horror realm, as those are always mandatory news topics here. And AEW is apparently on fire. A lot of bad stuff going on over there. Cody Rhodes obviously saw what was going on and skedaddled out of there. And now we're seeing why. And then apparently Harry Styles just spit on Chris Pine at the Venice Film Festival. So just wild, crazy stuff going on in the world right now. You know what? Not even going to bury the lead anymore. Let's just go ahead and jump right into that. So, have y'all been following this drama, like straight up drama that is going on with the Don't Worry Darling film? Like the film from Olivia Wilde. She's directing and she's starring in it. Or she's one of the actresses in the film. The stars are Harry Styles and Florence Pugh. Who am I kidding? Florence Pugh's the star of that movie. And just so much drama going on over there. Just so much drama going on with that film. So, and it started like, I want to say sometime last week, maybe a little, a couple days more, but like freaking A, dude. So press is going on for the film. The film's going to be releasing relatively soon. I think it releases the week of the HHN trip. So we looked that up real quick. So they're doing press for the film, right? And originally in the film, Shia LaBeouf was going to be starring. Shia LaBeouf was going to be one of the stars of this film. And while doing press, Olivia Wilde was answering a question about Shia LaBeouf, and the drama ensued. So the film released September 23rd, 2022. So yeah, that'll be during the HHN trip for myself. And the Wolfpack. Haunter's back. So she answered the question. Shia immediately came out because she was talking about why Shia got fired from the film. Shia LaBeouf came back saying that is a lie. It's 100% a lie. I quit. You know the truth. And he released a video of Olivia Wilde calling him, explaining how much she wants him back in the film, hopes they can work out the thing, and references Miss Flo in reference to Florence Pugh being a problem on set, which has caused even more drama now with Florence Pugh and Olivia Wilde. So that's all going on, right? That's happening. Shia is standing up for himself. He's like, no, I wasn't fired. I quit the film because of the things that are going on set. So he got out of there. She's trying to save face. Not looking too good right now. So that video comes out. So now things are fractured between Florence Pugh and freaking Olivia Wilde, because obviously they would be. She's talking behind her back. So now we're at the Venice Film Festival. Florence is doing very limited press for it, but she's going to be at the Venice Film Festival. She shows up 15 minutes late. She's not hanging out too much around Olivia Wilde. There's a photo where they're kind of close to each other, but there's somebody in between them. She's not making any eye contact with Olivia Wilde whatsoever. Like, dude, it is drama filled over there right now. And then, of course, as the Venice Film Festival is going on, they've had a press conference where Chris Pine was apparently zoning off during the press conference and all that stuff. And then now, before recording, I just saw a video because I was looking to see is there any new news to talk about before recording here. And freaking, there's a video where it looks like Harry freaking Styles spits on Chris Pine. Like literally spits on Chris Pine, and you're watching you're like, there's no way that happened. Like there's no way that just happened. And you sit there and I sit there and I watch like a couple times. I'm like, this fucker just spit on Chris Pine, didn't he? And there might be other angles to look at it, but between just Chris Pine's reaction, like it has to be. Like it has to be it. I mean, maybe it was an accident, something just kind of flew out of Harry Styles' mouth there or something. Maybe he was upset because Chris Pine was sitting next to Olivia Wilde. I don't know. But Harry Styles, man, that's what it looked like. Chris Pine had a great reaction. He didn't, sock Harry Styles in the face or anything. And I haven't seen any fights or anything like that. Chris Pine's a professional, man. So a lot of respect for Chris Pine. I already liked him. But man, what drama that is going on over there right now. It's like a freaking professional wrestling thing over there going on right now, man. There's such freaking drama. You would think this is a storyline. But geez, wow. Just so much drama. And I was interested in the film. Buddy, Thrill Me Podcast Network, Buddy, Mr. Wonderful brought this film up. And while we're on that subject here, follow the Thrill Me Podcast Network, man. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on freaking TikTok. We're doing all kinds of fun stuff over there, man. Reaction videos, Wednesday trailer reactions, over 500 views, dude. Somebody took the time, 500 people took the time to at least start a video with me in it. Like, are you freaking kidding me? That is amazing. I'm so appreciative of that. That's so cool to think that anybody took time to watch me do anything or even listen to this show. But I appreciate everybody that joins in, man. So yeah, please give us a like and subscribe, share it with your friends and your family. Help us get the word out there because we're all having a good time with the Metal Groove, talking about the music, the metal. You got Haunters Podcast talking about all the spooky haunt stuff. You got the Mr. Wonderful Show, which is a entertainment-driven show. And you've got Improper Guidance, which is a show that gives you improper guidance. There you go, man. And then you got my show where, I talk all kinds of things, mostly movie stuff, but, video games, TV, wrestling, drama on, Venice Film Festivals. So yeah, that's going on there. Positive stuff coming out of the Venice Film Festival, man. I hope you've all seen this. This, made my heart very happy. Brendan Fraser has a movie coming out called The Whale, and he got like a long standing ovation for his performance, man. Great to see. Brendan went through some serious stuff in his life, and it's good to see that he's had this rebound over the last couple of years and is doing really well. That's the thing I hate the most about the Batgirl film being canceled, is that Brendan was in it as the voice of Firefly. Hopefully they can, get him back as Firefly for something else, Batman wise, but just good to see, that man's been through a lot, and it's good to see that he's getting his flowers, as the kids say, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, man, crazy stuff going on there. I had to jump in there. AEW, I don't talk a whole lot of AEW, but like that's a whole other thing going on right now. Whether it's a work or not, I don't know. That's for other people to figure out and say. The AEW fans will, of course, say, oh, they're working you because, nothing bad happens there in AEW. Only the bad stuff happens in WWE. They're the toxic ones. It's the truth. That's what AEW fans say. It's not the truth that toxic stuff's going on in WWE. Everything seems fine right now. They had 2 live events that we're going to talk about. I don't know. I don't talk AEW that much because I'm not a fan. And if you're not a fan of something, I'm not going to sit here and call it trash and all that because it's not for me. It's for other people. That's fine. Enjoy your thing. But yeah, bad stuff seemingly happening over there. And it's all circling around one person who is very, always causing problem, if you will. Once a punk, always a punk, I guess is the best way to put that. So yeah, let's jump into the review this week, man. I'm going to review, like I said, my weekend. I didn't get to watch anything new. Elvis is finally on HBO Max. Can check that out as soon as possible. The extended version of Jurassic World Dominion is now on Peacock, which the Thrill Me Podcast Network group did a review of that. We gave all of our feelings on it. The original film, I haven't seen the one with like the 14 extra minutes yet. I will probably check that out as soon as possible. and review that and give you my thoughts on it. It's a weird situation, so we're, definitely need to rewatch that movie for sure. But most of my weekend was filled up with watching WWE. We had two WWE live events that went on this weekend. We also had, I like some NASCAR, some from time to time. They're at my home racetrack. They're at Darlington, South Carolina, so I checked out that race. You had the LSU football game on that I checked out as well. So busy viewing weekend for myself in sports ways. Yeah, sports, dude. So yeah, but yeah, the WWE was the main thing I watched this weekend, and we started off with a big time event. For the first time in 30 years, the WWE returned to the UK for a major event, and the event was called Clash at the Castle. Uh, you know, what an event. What a just absolute amazing atmosphere. I remember as soon as the thing started, I got the goosies, man. Like, I wasn't even wrestling, and I got the goosebumps. Like, I'm like, this is absolutely incredible. That crowd was electric from start to finish. You just felt the emotion. You feel that they've been away from it from 30 years. That's normally how it works, man. The audiences abroad, if you will, are very awesome, very electric, very excited, very into it. And we got some crowds like that here in the States, but they're hit and miss for some reason. But I digress. That crowd was absolutely incredible from start to finish. The event started off awesome, really good pre-show match. He had Madcap and the Street Profits going against Austin Theory. He's now got his first name back versus the Alpha Academy. Solid pre-show match there from the Stars. We move into the actual event itself, and it kicks off with the 6-woman tag team match, where a lot of stuff going on, man. You rewind to SummerSlam. Hopefully, you're some wrestling fans. I'm trying to make this go as quick as possible in case you're not wrestling fans. You're just here for movie news, but talk about all kinds of stuff on the show, man. So. You have Bianca Belair, who is our Raw Women's Champion, Asuka and Alexa Bliss taking on Damage Control. That is the team of Bayley, Dakota Kai, love me some Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Dakota Kai back with the company. They returned at SummerSlam. Bayley came out after a long recovery from a knee injury. She's finally back. She brought Dakota Kai back with her, who was released not too long ago. She came back. First person Triple H brought back was Dakota Kai. NXT, awesome person. I love Dakota Kai, man. Love Dakota Kai. And then, of course, Io got pulled up from NXT to the main roster, and there's been a storyline going there. Bayley wants control. They're like, we're the ones that's been overlooked. We want to take over. We want control. And this is built and built and built to where they now got our 6 women's tag match here. Very solid match. Good opening match to start off the event. Like I said, the other match was the pre-show match, which is still an important match. I don't care what anybody says. Pre-show match, still an important match. This is the first match of the official event, if you will, and was really good from start to finish. There's little hiccups here and there, but overall, good kickoff to the event. Damage Control ended up winning, as they should have. I think anytime you have like a group, especially a new group, you don't want them to continue to lose. And we saw Io and Dakota lose the women's tag team championship match in controversial fashion. We are getting a rematch on next week's Raw for the women's tag team championship, because Dakota was pinned. Dakota was not the legal woman. Yada yada yada. We're gonna get the rematch. So yeah, good start there. Damage Control won, as they should have. You don't want your new factions losing. That then goes to the Intercontinental Championship match, which, as soon as this match was announced, I was like, oh, this is gonna be freaking awesome. This is going to be a brutal match. They're going to give each other hell. They're going to beat the hell out of each other. Let's go. We've got Gunther, who is the Intercontinental Champion, taking on Sheamus, the absolute Irish icon, who's been around for a while in the WWE. Awesome. Doesn't get the credit he deserves. Fantastic freaking performer. They go at it, man. They beat the living hell out of each other. At the end of the match, you can just see Sheamus all beat to hell. Good match, good solid, what you wanted. Two dudes just brutalizing each other out there, which is what you were expecting from this match, and that's what they delivered. Gunther retains the championship. Moving into the SmackDown Women's Championship match is the match that I very conflicted on coming out of the pay-per-view. So it is SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan taking on my favorite women's wrestler, Shayna Baszler. I was into it, man. As soon as they announced this match and that Shayna was getting title, I'm like, yes, here we go. Triple H is in charge. We're getting Shayna back, man, because that's been my main hiccup, because I'm a huge Shayna Baszler fan. Like, ever since she's come up to the main roster, it's like, you are wasting Shayna Baszler. She is a badass. She's a killer. And it wasn't always like that when she came up. I mean, remember the Elimination Chamber match? She destroyed everybody in that match. She freaking bit Becky Lynch's neck. So... And then all of a sudden it just fell apart. And it's like, dude, come on. Now Triple H is in charge. Shayna's getting a title match. I'm like, yes, here we go. Let's freaking go. And it's no knock on Liv. I love Liv. Liv is great. I am a Liv Morgan fan. If Shayna wasn't there and if Dakota wasn't there, Liv would be my favorite. You know what I'm saying? Because I like me some Liv Morgan. But, I mean, she's up against Shayna. And Shayna should destroy her, just like Ronda destroyed Liv. But, they did some talking about that, did some storyline building here. Liv tapped out to Ronda. Ronda got mad because she was pinned at the same time. The referee said that Liv won the match, even though Liv tapped out. Liv technically should have lost the match, but referee's final decision was that Liv Morgan won the match. She's still champion. Ronda beat the hell out of some people. She's been suspended, paid money. She's now back unsuspended, which I assume she's going to be coming back after Liv very soon. So we go forward. Shayna Baszler becomes the #1 contender. Back and forth and all this stuff. Ronda reminds Shayna that Shayna used to be a killer. So Shayna comes back, beats the crap out of Liv a couple times heading into the pay-per-view. Before we get there, Liv Morgan gets the assistance of Matt Riddle on learning how to combat fight, get the UFC stuff, be able to ground work and all that good stuff, because Shayna, of course, is a prize fighter as well. So going to the match is good story-wise to see Liv build up character-wise there, get the introduction of that into her character. And again, I like Liv. It's cool. I would be a little more ticked off if somebody else was champion and beat Shayna, because I'm sick of seeing Shayna Baszler lose. She should not be losing as much as she is. But yeah, Liv, if you couldn't tell, Liv wins the match. Pretty good match, solid. I think they did a good job of doing what they needed to do. My hope going here is that Ronda's going to come back. She's going to go after Liv. Ronda's going to get, because Ronda and Shayna are real life friends, and they've come in together and all that stuff. And so my hope is that Ronda's going to come back. She's going to go after Liv. She's going to tell Shayna, I'm going to do what you couldn't do. There's going to be a little squaffle between Shayna and Ronda there. Ronda ends up getting the championship back from Liv, and then we see Shayna and Ronda battle it out for the championship at maybe WrestleMania. I don't know. We're probably getting... Where are we at right now? Next pay-per-view is Extreme Rules. We'll see. WrestleMania is way off. I don't know if that's a WrestleMania match or not, but I want to see Ronda and Shayna. It's definitely a match that needs to happen. I want to see Shayna as champion. We got to get Shayna back as champion. Again, I get it. I'm a huge fan of Shayna, so, it's the fan thing here. I'm fine. With Liv winning. Again, I like Liv, so no problems there. Moving forward, we get Edge and Rey Mysterio versus The Judgment Day. That is Finn Balor and Damian Priest. The fun part here, Edge's theme song is done by Alter Bridge. The Judgment Day's theme song is done by Alter Bridge. Double awesome Alter Bridge moment. Always love Rey Mysterio. Is one of my all-time favorite. He's in my top 10 list of favorite wrestlers of all time. So it's always great to see him wrestle. Seeing him and Edge team up years later after... they were a team before and were former tag team champions, going after the Judgment Day, who was a group that Edge built, and then Edge got kicked out of, once Finn Balor joined. So that storyline there, and the interesting storyline going on with that is another member of Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley, and then Rey Mysterio's son, Dominic Mysterio, is involved with this as well. Dominic's a little upset because... a couple weeks ago, Edge accidentally speared Dominic. Dominic took that personally. Rey's trying to explain to him it was just an accident, all that stuff. You can trust Edge. I've trusted Edge all this whole time. Moving forward, Dominic's upset that Rey picks Edge as his tag team partner to go against the Judgment Day here. Rey's like, I've got to have this experience. You're still learning, kid. I need Edge's experience to help beat the Judgment Day and finally get this curse off of us and all that stuff. So going to the match. Good match, builds and builds and builds. Rhea gets involved in it. Dominic gets involved in it. Rhea beats up Dominic outside. Rey gets out there. He gets Rhea out the way. We go into the match. Dominic trips Finn Balor, which sets up a 619 into a spear. And then Edge and Rey Mysterio win the match. Dominic comes in. You can see the Edge and Rey are celebrating. Dominic's not getting any celebration. If you can look at Dominic, he's getting a little upset about this because he's not being included in it. Dominic helped them win. He should be included in the celebration here. He's getting more and more upset. Things build up. All of a sudden, boom, kick to the Jewels, the Edge Jewels. He kicks Edge in the Jewels. Loses a shoe while doing it, so I'll let you know how hard he kicked him in the Jewels. He takes off his other shoe because who wants to walk around with another shoe? And of course, Ray's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, man? Come on. And he's like, come on, can't do this and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, bam, clothesline, straight. Looks a lot like an Eddie Guerrero clothesline, man. I saw a couple of videos of those side by side. I'm like, dude, Dominic pulled that off. Dominic did an Eddie Guerrero clothesline there, which that's a storyline to talk about right there. The whole back in the day, the Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Dominic storyline. Oh, check that out when you get time. Trying to quickly get through this because I don't know how many of you are like movie fans. Like, he's talking about wrestling, man. Get out of here. So yeah, Dominic turned on his freaking father, dude, and has joined the Judgment Day. We saw that tonight on Monday Night Raw. He's now part of the Judgment Day. They took out Edge tonight, and Rey Mysterio lost a match to Damian Priest. So that's where they're at now. Edge will be facing Dominic Mysterio next week. We'll see how Edge's leg is. They put a chair on it, and Finn Balor did a coup de grace off the top rope to the chair to Edge's freaking leg. So we'll see how Edge is doing next week if he's in the match. Braun Strowman returned tonight on Raw as well. So if you're a Braun Strowman fan, there you go. I was never the biggest Braun Strowman fan, but it's cool to see him back. It's fine to see him back out there. That's cool. So yeah, we're gonna see where that story ends up going. They're gonna need some help, man. I mean, it's just Edge and Rey Mysterio at this point against the Judgment Day. That's Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and now Dominic Mysterio in the mix. So I assume Beth Phoenix will be the woman who comes in. There's like some fantasy of that Aaliyah Mysterio, Rey's daughter, would get involved in this. I don't think she's training to wrestle at all. I don't know. I haven't followed. I would assume Beth Phoenix would be the woman who comes in and gets involved here to have butt heads with Rhea, and then I don't know who would be the other person to join Edge. Christian's in AEW. I think he's still under contract, so you can't really think Christian. There's been rumors about Gangrel. I don't know if Gangrel would be the one to come in. AJ Styles, there's still a little bit of story there, but I think they've kind of thrown that to the side. So I don't know. I don't know who would be the next person that would join them other than Beth Phoenix. So gotta wait and see, man. Let's see. Next matchup, we had Seth Rollins versus Matt Riddle. Very, very personal match. These two over the last couple months here, Seth Rollins has taken Matt Riddle out, hitting him with curb stomp after curb stomp after curb stomp. I saw it live in person here at the North Charleston Coliseum in South Carolina. So another curb stomp happened there. Seth is just going after it, man, and they're not, Seth is sick of it. Real life heat between these two as well. So going into the match, just a lot of personal thing. Last thing we saw, Seth brought up Riddle's family. That takes Riddle off. Riddle's normally like a, 420 happy-go-lucky kind of dude. But yeah, they got into it. And good match, really solid match. Very, very great work between all of them. We saw Seth. I mean, Seth to me is like one of the absolute best in the business today, without a doubt. And he just went out there and put on a great match. I've become more of a fan of Riddle as time's gone on. I mean, him teaming up with Randy Orton really changed my mind on Riddle. I wasn't the biggest Riddle fan in the world. A lot to do with what Seth Rollins has said about Riddle in real life, where Riddle is very talented, but he needs to learn to shut his mouth. He talks too much, and he gets his mouth in trouble, and he doesn't respect legends and all that stuff. So that's kind of the problem I've had with Matt Riddle, who now has his first name back as well. But yeah, great match. Probably the match of the night. I know it's definitely the match of the night for a lot of people. They've said that was the match of the night. Really good work in the ring with not just the wrestling, but also the storytelling that went on there as well. Rollins is great heel. Rollins is an absolute great heel. He's great at everything he freaking does. Seth Rollins picked up the win after 2 curb stomps, 1 normal curb stomp, and then he went up to the ropes and jumped off to hit another curb stomp. You saw Riddle after the match. He has a bump on his freaking forehead. So yeah, he caught that. He caught that curb stomp really well. Let's see. And then our main event was the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match. Our Universal Champion, the head of the table, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, comes in as champion without Paul Heyman, without the Usos, man. He's by himself for the first time in a long time. We haven't seen him flaked with the bloodline. We're like, okay, Roman's going in. He's going into the UK. This is very much a Drew McIntyre-fueled fandom, man. He's got the fans on his side. He's got the extra person on his side. This is Drew McIntyre's place, right? Like back in the day at SummerSlam when you had the British Bulldog versus Bret the Hitman Hart for the Intercontinental Championship. British Bulldog, freaking going for the title. He's the hometown kid. Everybody's behind him. They want to see the hometown man win the match. The hometown man won the match. British Bulldog became the champion that night in the main event. So here we go. 30 years later, main event, UK man going for the championship. Different championship this time. This is the big championship, the number one championship in the company, and this is the number one man in the company, Roman Reigns. So here we go. They have the battle. They battle it out. Great battle between the two of them, fighting it really well, doing good stuff, good spots. A lot of good stuff. You're watching it. You're like, you're into it. Your crowd is into Drew McIntyre. They're doing the "Oh, Drew McIntyre" chant, which, by the way, before Drew came out, they played his old theme song, and they did the old thing where this trailer was playing in front of the freaking thing on the screen and all that stuff, and then cut into his new song. Freaking chef's kiss. Perfect. Awesome. Love it. Miss his old song. Glad they did that. Hope he does that all the time now. Great song. But they did a good match. They're into it. You're into it, man. You're sitting there like, this is it. This is where Roman finally loses the championship, man. Because who's going to take it from him? He's beaten everybody at this point, right? Except for Cody Rhodes. But they haven't had a match. So there you go. He hasn't beat Seth either. Technically, he still hasn't beat Seth Rollins. So we'll get to that in a moment. So they're going into it. You're like, oh, this is it. Drew's going to take the titles. Roman's going to go away for a little while. He's going to relax. He's going to take a break. He's going to come back. We're going to set up the match for him and The Rock at WrestleMania. But they're going into it. They're into it. They're fighting, battling it out. Freaking Drew gets the upper hand, hits him with a Claymore. You're like, oh, this is it. Ref going 1, 2. Ref gets pulled out the ring. You're like, hey, what? What the hell? There's no Paul Heyman. He's still out from the F5 from Brock Lesnar at the last pay-per-view. There's no Usos. They're out. They're hurt. There's no Sami Zayn. He's out. Who is it? Like, who did it? Who was the one that pulled him out? Freaking, you look at it. It's freaking none other than Solo Sikoa, man. The freaking fighter. The youngest brother of the Usos. He's been in NXT doing the thing. He was there. He makes his debut at Clash at the Castle. He helps Roman Reigns survive the match. Drew McIntyre turns around. Boom! Spear. Over. Roman Reigns is still your reigning, defending, undisputed WWE Universal Champion. He's moving forward. Who will be the next challenger? We'll have to wait and see on that one. But good match, man. A great pay-per-view from start to finish. Just solid matches from start to finish. Like, good stuff, man. Wrestling's so awesome. I love professional. I love the WWE. I love wrestling. And WWE is wrestling. It's in the name. I always look at wrestling as theater, man. Theater. And just great theater and awesomeness. Like, if you're a movie fan, you can love wrestling. Wrestling's theater. If you can sit here and believe in comic book movies, you can believe in professional wrestling. So, great thing from start to finish. Where does Roman Reigns go from here? I believe he's taking time off, from what I understand. Could be right, could be wrong. I don't know. But the bloodline is definitely stronger here. We'll see where that ends up going. He and Seth definitely have some unfinished business. Survivor Series is coming up. That would be the 10-year anniversary. 10-year anniversary of the Shield's debut, so maybe a Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns match if Roman Reigns isn't taking time off. I'm sure he won't be a part of Extreme Rules, but Survivor Series, that's one of the big 4 pay-per-views, so maybe he'll be back there. I mean, you got a whole Bloodline now. Have the traditional Survivor Series match, Bloodline versus, I don't know who the fuck. I mean, maybe Bray Wyatt back. You got Braun Strowman there. You probably bring Eric Rowan in. But that's still not enough, man. I don't know. I don't freaking know. I don't know. But you got that. Cody. It seems even more possible now that Cody is going to be the one that beats Roman Reigns for the championship. I don't know where Cody's healing time plants him. Hopefully he'll be back by the Royal Rumble. If he is, I would bet on him winning the Royal Rumble and then, of course, taking on Roman Reigns for the championship. The Seth Rollins-Cody Rhodes feud is still kind of there. Seth attacked Cody, put him on the shelf even more. We already knew Cody had the injury and was going to be out for a while. Seth still attacked him, so that storyline still a little bit there. Wouldn't it be interesting if Seth Rollins was the one that beat Roman Reigns for the championship, and then Cody wins the Royal Rumble, and then it's Cody versus Seth at WrestleMania again for the championship? That'd be pretty cool. In my opinion, that'd be really cool. Because, I mean, the rumor is Roman versus The Rock. You don't need the belts for that match. So, either way, great event there. I was like, awesome, cool. And in my brain, I had no idea that NXT Worlds Collide was happening this weekend as well. So the next day, I see, oh, NXT Worlds Collide is happening today. Okay, cool. I was not expecting that. I was expecting it to be on Tuesday or something like that when they do like their other pay-per-views. They're normally on, or their big events is normally on Tuesday. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's watch it. And the first match, absolute freaking spectacle. Uh, Ricochet versus Carmelo for the North American Championship. What a spectacle that match was. Like, just spot after spot after spot. They're flying all over the place. They're hitting these awesome moves. They're hitting each other. You can see blood coming out of Ricochet's ear. There's blood in freaking Carmelo's mouth. Like, they were giving to each other. Hell of a match, man. I'm going to watch it again because it's just an awesome, absolute awesome display. Carmelo is the future without a doubt. Carmelo Hayes is freaking incredible. Can't wait to see what his future is like. Ricochet's always been awesome. I'm hoping the best for him, especially with Triple H in charge now. Hopefully we'll get to see more of him. We've seen more of him for sure on SmackDown. But what a freaking match to kick off there. We go from there to, they did like a freaking spot in that match where they both jumped off the ropes and flew across the ring at each other. Amazing. We went from there to a fatal four-way elimination match for the unified NXT and NXT UK championships. That's what this event was about. NXT UK is going away, so the UK championships are being melded into the NXT championships. Fine match. The Pretty Deadly team was the one that came out with the championships there. Again, just trying to get through this because I'm 30 minutes in. I'm sure people are like, dude, get over with the wrestling talk already. Or maybe you're enjoying it, which I hope you are because I love the WWE. So hopefully y'all are enjoying this as well. Decent match. From there, we go to the triple threat match to unify the NXT and NXT UK Women's Championships. Pretty Deadly. I guess that was a UK team that won there. So good for them. They already moved up to NXT before the end of NXT UK, but they end up getting the championships in controversial fashion. One of the Diamond Mine members turned on the other Diamond Mine team, so we'll see where that story goes on Tuesday with NXT. We had a triple threat women's match. Good, solid match. Mandy Rose, of course, comes out with the championships here. She is. Listen, Mandy Rose has been around for a couple of years. She's always been on that verge. Back in the day, she was on that verge of becoming she's going to become. She kind of looks like Trish Stratus. She's close. Okay, she's going to be the next Trish Stratus back in the day. It just never happened, right? She gets moved to NXT. She has been on fire since coming to NXT, which is absolutely incredible. Changed her hair to brunette, which I think is a fantastic look for her. And she's been doing great, man. Mandy Rose has been on a hell of a roll since going to NXT, and more power to her, man. She's doing great. She's now the NXT Undisputed Champion. I don't even know if that's what they're calling these. Unified. She's just the NXT Women's Champion. These titles are getting, like back in the day when the Intercontinental Championship and the European Championship got unified, it's just the Intercontinental Championship now. So yeah, she's the NXT Women's Champion. And then we go to the NXT Women's Tag Team match. Again, fine match. Doudrop and Nikki ASH. That's almost a superhero. Which, by the way, she took her mask off and threw it at Doudrop tonight after they lost another match. So maybe she's dropping that moniker of the almost superhero thing, which, she's been doing fine with it. But give us back the other Nikki Cross. Katana, right? Yeah. Katana and Kayden are your tag team champions. They win the match. They are fantastic. They do great stuff. They're still the tag team champions. I wasn't expecting them to lose anyways. Probably setting up something with the Toxic Attraction tag team there. And then our main event was NXT and NXT UK Championship unification match. Bron Breakker versus Tyler Bate. Very solid match. Good, entertaining from start to finish. I wanted Tyler Bate to win this match. I think Tyler Bate should have won this match, but sticking with the trend of the night, bury NXT UK as much as possible. All the NXT regulars basically won. Exception of the start. Ricochet's a WWE guy, main roster guy. So, expected Carmelo to win that one. Pretty Deadly won the tag team titles. They came from UK earlier, so I guess that's fine. But, from there out, it was just, Mandy Rose won. So NXT UK Women's Champion fell. And then the main event, Tyler Bate lost. Good match, solid match, good sportsmanship. Tyler Bate, this is honestly the first time I've ever seen Tyler Bate actually work in the ring. Never got the chance to really watch NXT UK when it was live and going. I'm obviously going to watch it on the network. I'm working on a thing, man, where I'm putting all the shows in order of when they release date wise. It's taking for fucking ever, but it's happening. So I will get to NXT UK and go through all that stuff. But Braun Breaker, as expected, he's the face of the new NXT. So he won the titles. I still think Tyler Bate should have won, but hey, that's me. Good event as well. So two very solid wrestling events back to back. All right, and let's go ahead and jump into the movie news because this episode's going longer than I expected. All right, as I take a drink of my Diet Pepsi there because I talked a lot just then. But I love it, man. I love WWE. I can talk about WWE forever, so I hope you all had a good time with that. All right, jumping into the news. You got some DC news here. We've got the confirmation that DC Fandom has officially been canceled. And of course, with the way things have been going over there at Warner Brothers Discovery, a lot of people have jumped in immediately with the negativity about, of course, it's canceled. They don't have any idea what they're doing over there, yada, yada, yada. Actually, it was canceled for pretty understandable reason. Quote, with the return of in-person events, Warner Brothers Discovery is excited to be able to engage with our fans live at numerous Comic-Cons around the world and will not be scheduling DC Fandom for 2022. They are expected to be at the New York Comic Con, which is taking place in October. It starts October 6th and ends on October 9th. Fine, completely understandable, man. I figured at this point, since we haven't heard a thing about DC Fandom, that it wasn't going to happen this year. And then, there you go. You got confirmation, and they're doing it for a very valid reason. They'd rather do, the in-person Comic-Cons, which is great. That's what freaking Marvel does. Marvel has the in-person Comic-Cons. People don't shit on that, so stop shitting on DC. So we'll see what they have at Comic Con. Black Adam's the only film they have releasing this year, right? Yeah, yeah. Black Adam's the only film. Yeah, is that right? I feel like that's right. Black Adam should be the only film releasing this year. Is releasing in October, same month as that New York Comic Con. Yes, yeah. Black Adam's the only film releasing. It's releasing a couple weeks after that Comic Con on October 21st. So can expect to see something from maybe Black Adam there and get some more Shazam stuff. Maybe some Flash stuff because things are not better, I guess. Well, they are better, but people are still assholes. Ezra has apologized. He's or they, excuse me, are seeking treatment. The Flash film is doing very well with test audiences, has the highest score of any DC film as far as test audiences go, from what I've seen. So maybe we get some Flash stuff. Who knows? Aquaman stuff, maybe. But again, I'm not seeing that film. I could care less about that film. So here we go. And then Shazam Fury of the Gods director David F. Sandberg addresses the reports that the film is being retooled, and that's why it's got pushed back. He said, quote, "No, I've seen reports that Shazam is being retooled, but it's not true. The cut has been locked for quite some time, and we're doing final mix, color, and visual effects right now. Everyone is happy with the film. We're not going to work longer on it just because the release date shifted. They figured Aquaman's previous release date was better for us. That's the reason we moved. Definitely not shooting more." So there you go. I wasn't expecting anything to be really else done with the Shazam film anyways. I figured, the move is the move. Makes sense. Now they get an IMAX release. Understandable. You got to replace the Aquaman move because the Aquaman film is having issues right now with visual effects. So, cool. And there's been rumors, nothing confirmed here, that Warner Bros. Discovery wants Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck both back for their roles, of course, as Superman and Batman. We'll see if that ends up happening. I mean, I'm more than okay with that, I guess. Especially the Henry Cavill part. I have no problem with Ben Affleck as Batman, but I remember Dude Man said a couple years ago he was done playing Batman. But I think maybe that was he was going through some personal struggles then. He's now married to J-Lo. Seems to be in good spirits. He's back as Batman for at least the Aquaman movie and the Flash film. So if they want to do that, cool. But at the same time, we're like, okay, that's cool, but you're also rebooting. So we're rebooting, but with all the same actors. you know, okay, cool. I guess I don't know. There's a lot of confusion going on over here at the DC, and I love the DC stuff. I love it to death. I defend it as hard as I can, and I support it as hard as I can. So I'm fine with whatever they're working on. Obviously, the Flash film is going to be the answer to whatever questions we're having right now. I assume the Black Adam film. I mean, of course, the Black Adam film is going to be a part of the ongoing start of the new universe. It's so hard to say with these films coming out before the Flash film. The Flash film is the reboot of the universe, but you have these films coming out before it, which is just Black Adam and Shazam. I don't know. I don't know. It's a head scratcher. But either way, I'm going to be there to support DC, except for Aquaman. Fuck that movie as long as you know who's in it. But yeah. All right, let's move over to horror movie news. Apparently, Halloween Ends doesn't have an end. According to a interview with director David Gordon Green, the ending changes every day. Quote, "It changes every day. In theory, the picture is locked, but this morning I called the editor and said, what if we do this one thing?" End quote. Quote, "I speak with John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis regularly about it. It's exciting, uncertain, satisfying, and sad. I've enjoyed the ride, but it's probably time to get off. I think we're gonna go out with a bang," which means, they're gonna shoot Michael to kill him, as they always do in the Halloween franchise. Almost always, not always. Don't come after me, Michael Myers fans. So yeah, they don't have an ending set, and that movie's coming out relatively soon too. So, good thing, bad thing? You let me know. I get, in search of the perfect ending, you can sometimes, overwork it. So hopefully they don't end up doing that. I don't know if they're worried about how Halloween Kills was received. So we'll see. Again, the film is releasing in theaters and on Peacock. Same time, same day. Not the same time. I'm sure it'll be on Peacock before it's in theater. I don't know. I've never really paid attention to how that works. It would be on Peacock at like midnight, right? I don't know. I don't know. My plan is to see it in theaters and then watch it on Peacock when I get home. If it's that good. If it's good. If it's not good, I might, take a couple days before I watch it again. But we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to see how they wrap up the that storyline, which I've noticed in the press and the marketing for the film. They've been pretty clear to point out it's the end of their story, not the end of Halloween, because obviously there's gonna be more Halloween films in the future. So there you go. Let's see. The first look at Jamie Clayton as Pinhead has been released, as well as a brand new symbiote. This is for the Hulu's Hellraiser. So there you go. You can go check those out if you're a Hellraiser fan. I haven't really gotten to the series. Saw the first film. That was kind of good enough for me. I'll eventually get there, but we'll see. Scream 6 is wrap production. The film will be hitting theaters March 31st, 2023. If you're into the Scream films, there you go. I don't know how I am with Scream films. I like the first one. I like the fourth one. 2, 3, meh. 5, sadly, meh. As much as I like Jenna Ortega, she's great in the movie. There's some points in the movie that are good, but overall, not a big fan of Scream 5, so we'll see how Scream 6 goes. Let's see. Supermassive Games, love them. I know that for sure. Love them. The studio director, Will Biles, has stated that the team's next horror project will be targeting a release in 2025 or 2026. Quote, "We started working on the next game. I can't really tell you very much about it, but we have started." Again, it's the same sort of horror game. We're sticking to that. It's the equivalent in size to The Quarry, and that's about as much as I can say about that without giving too much information. He also believes that it won't be long before the big-name Hollywood actors join in on the fun, saying, quote, "I don't think that's far off. It's mostly about the number of days we have them for because it's very expensive, and shooting this takes a long time, so that becomes a bit of an issue," he explained. Also, when you get somebody like Tom Cruise, that becomes what could be a budget of an entire game just on him, so it will come down to that. I love the Supermassive games. Absolutely love those games. Still a couple I need to play, but I've loved everything I've played so far from them. Love what I'm seeing. Give me more. Give me more. Tom Cruise. What a name drop. I wonder if they're working on trying to get Tom Cruise. That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. Go ahead and make a Mummy freaking game, you cowards. I love that Mummy game. I will freaking defend that Mummy movie till the day I die. That movie is goddamn good, and I don't care what anybody says. So yeah, I love it. I love that they're still kicking out the jams over there in a new game on the way in 2025 or 2026. So Good on them. Trick or Treat. Is this the last bit of news? All right, yeah, it's the last bit of news. Here we go. Trick or Treat, the film, the horror movie people love, not the 80s metal movie. That's Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat, this is the Sam movie, is heading to theaters. It's coming to theaters, and this is for the first time ever. And I know you're probably looking and you're like, what? No way, that movie had to be in the theaters back in the day. It actually wasn't. Warner Brothers Legendary didn't know what to do with the movie back in the day, back in 2007. That was back in the day. The film was showed at various festivals, but never actually released until 2009. And even then, it wasn't released in theaters. It was released straight to DVD. So there you go. For the first time ever this spooky season, Trick or Treat will be in theaters, and we don't know if it'll ever be in theaters again. So head out there and go see it. I'm definitely going to plan on doing that. As far as Trick or Treat sequels go, a sequel was announced a couple years ago, and I remember that it was announced, but I have seen absolutely nothing whatsoever about it since. So yeah. As for other horror movies that I did see announced for October heading to theaters, you've got Trick or Treat. You're also going to get The Lost Boys. I would probably end up seeing that as well in theaters if I get the chance. Halloween, 1978 classic. That'll be in theaters. I definitely want to see that in theaters again. And Scream 2. No. What a weird pool. Scream 2. And that Scream? Is it like an anniversary thing with Scream 2? I don't know. But, it's hitting theaters, man. So, good on you. Wow, this episode was like mostly wrestling talk and, Don't Worry Darling drama, which I guess is kind of covering movie entertainment news. So there you go, man. Got into it. I think I gave a good bit of fun here. This is the show. It's a twisted jumble of my mind. That's what it is. My mind's movie and WWE is what's going on 99% of the time up there. 99 is a high number, but still fair. There's some Halloween Horror Nights in there as well, and then some Universal Studios over here, and then that part right there is, music. Who knows? But I have fun, and that's what matters, man. And I hope it comes across that way, and I hope you have fun listening to the show. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me babble on about the stuff I babble about, man. This stuff I find very loving in my life. Movies and WWE and Halloween Horror Nights are very important things to me, so that's why I talk about them on the show. Share my love with the people to help them know. I don't know. I don't know where it's going with that. But yeah, share my love with these things. Get out there in the world because I love talking about them. It makes me happy. So there you go. Hope you all had a good time with the show. I freaking always awkward at ending this thing, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. Appreciate you all taking the time to listen. Please, again, like and subscribe and share the Throw Me Podcast Network with your friends and family. School started back up. Put it on the bulletin board at the school. Hey, man, Throw Me Podcast Network. Check it out. We're not too dirty over here. So it might be a little F-bombs that drop out every now and then, but that's okay, man. It happens. I grew up watching WWE, man. Stone Cold was cussing and flipping me off every single day. So, what can I say? But again, thank you for listening to the show. And remember that happiness can always be found, even in the darkest of times, if one remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.
Thank you for joining me this week. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to get updates on all new episodes. As well, follow me on Twitter at review_it_Rob. Stay tuned for more adventures.